Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Radiant Soul podcast. And today I want to talk you through a practice that's a little bit more advanced. It's more for the adept, and it's for definitely someone who really wants to take their spiritual practice, their meditation to a whole new level, and to a whole new level of understanding of vibrational frequency and alignment and how to tap into that. And it's a really subtle practice. And so if you don't get it straight away, don't worry, because that's absolutely normal. It's a very subtle process that I'm going to talk you through that involves an openness to trying it out, to really practicing this, because all of these things, they are practices, a meditation practice, a yoga practice, a music practice, whatever it is. It means it's something that we have to do over and over again, right, for us to learn, because we have been programmed to be a certain way and act in a certain way and react in a certain way. And so it's really important that we learn, and that practicing these techniques is key to actually mastering them and to understanding your vibrational frequency throughout your day, and to being able to really bring that focus to your day, so that when life is throwing its stuff at you, you can bring more awareness and you can bring more understanding. And so the practice I want to do today, it's about when we think, when we let our mind just think, it will go off in all sorts of different tangents and directions, and it can end up feeling very scattered. We can feel very scattered with that thinking process, and especially if we have no control over it. And one of the things with vibrational alignment is choosing your preferred frequency, right? And bringing your attention back to that, And what often happens when we first discover law of attraction or manifestation is we focus on the thing we think we want, but we focus on the lack of it. And we focus on, I really wish I had more money. I really wish I had more money. I really wish I had more money. And so obviously you're just always going to perpetually create wishing you had more money, as opposed to what does abundance feel like? What does wealth feel like? What is that state of having more money? What would that bring to me? And sometimes it's peace, sometimes it's relief, sometimes it's joy, sometimes it's expansion. And that's the frequency, that's the state. And so that's one way to do this. But the other way is to understand what is already present. And so we've all done awareness meditations, or if you haven't, go do some, they're really beautiful. But you come into the state of I am awareness, where you bring your focus and your center into present awareness. Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now is all about this. But this is a process that I want to take one step further. So there is thought, which is very scattered and can lead to our energy feeling quite scattered, lead to our vibrational state being quite scattered. And then there is also focus. So if you were to bring your mind into focus on one thing, be it anything, say, for instance, I have a paperclip, if I would just bring my attention into the focusing on the paperclip, already I am a clearer, more focused vibrational frequency. Already there is an openness and an expansion, because my thoughts are not, my day, my life, my being isn't being ruled by these thoughts. It's being focused very intently on a paperclip. And you can do this with any kind of object, say you want, and really focus on it. And then you start to see the color, the shape, the vibrancy, and you start to go into a deeper understanding and reflection of that said thing. But for this practice, what I want you to bring your awareness to, and your attention and your focus, is to the space where nothing is, but is all around you. Now, what I mean by that is what is in front of you, what is present and aware, what is present right where you are. And I actually will do this, and I'll close my eyes and I'll feel and open up into feeling the space just in my immediate vicinity, and we'll just ask, what is present? And this is the key, right? It's not about thinking what is present. I've got to think of these words. It's a feeling state. It's allowing your body to feel into the feeling state. And the reason we do this with the nothingness, with the air, with the stuff around us, is because there's no emotional charge. It's like a pure frequency. It's a pure frequency of the abundance of the universe and of nature and of what is of God, of everything. It's like completely pure. Whereas, for instance, something man-made like a paperclip, or for instance, a person, has its own vibrational frequency. It's less pure. It's less, I say less pure. It's already got a predetermined form, frequency, vibration that you can also tap into and understand or be in the presence of. But when we do it to the air around us, when we do it to the nothingness and find out what is present, and just be very open to what is present as a feeling state, not a thought, a feeling state. So a feeling state is a physical, sensational experience. Even emotions are actually, if you really feel into them, are actually a physical reaction, a sensational reaction to something that is. And when you can feel into that and just be like, what is present? And then really feel into that. I might sneeze in a minute, so do excuse me. I'm going to just touch my nose. And just be present with what is present right now in the air around you. And for me, it feels very expansive. It feels very kind and loving. And then you can start asking, you can start to put words into it. Well, what does that remind me of? What does that feeling state remind me of? And for me, every time I do this, the feeling state is one of love, like really nurturing motherly love, like just unconditional love and well-being. Well-being was something that really surprised me when I was doing this, even like a couple of days ago, was just like, well, what does that, what is present here? And I felt these feelings of just expansiveness and openness and presence. And it felt like love. It felt like pure love. And then it felt like utter well-being. And without thinking, just staying in that state, just staying in that feeling state of focus. And it is a focused state. It's like bringing your intention and focus to what is present, and not allowing the thoughts to take over, not allowing the mental chit chat to come in and blah, 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 blah. And like, it will inevitably come in, because that's the way our minds are programmed, is, let's catch in, let's think this, let's fill it up with noise. We don't, but coming back to that feeling state, that present awareness of what is present right now around me. And this is a really simple thing to do in nature, actually. Like, we've all had those experiences when we're in nature and we can just feel like the present awareness of what is. And it feels, that's why being in nature feels so good to us, because we are surrounded by this vibrational pure frequency, right? That hasn't been contaminated or polluted. Like, the trees really don't worry about where their resources are coming from. They really don't worry about, like, they're not going to have enough soil. Panic. Like, they literally create their own soil. They literally grow on a rock and drop the leaves that create the soil that, like, decomposes and creates the soil. They literally create their resources to grow. They don't worry or panic or worry about it, because they live in this constant field that surrounds the earth. It surrounds the whole of the earth. It surrounds the whole of creation, but you can really feel into the vibration of it as pure love and well-being. And there's no lack in that. There is no lack. And, one of the well-being really struck me the other day, because it was like, oh God, if like the very fabric of nature, the very fabric and essence of the air we breathe is pure well-being, like how peaceful and expansive and relaxing and opening is that? Like, what an amazing state, because we're so hell-bent on seeing problems everywhere. We're so hell-bent on focusing on what isn't well, what isn't right, what we don't agree with. But the whole of nature, the fabric of the air we breathe, has this pure vibrational frequency of love and well-being. And you can feel abundance in there. You can feel peace in there. Like, the practice is to come and bring your focus, your attention to what is and the what isn't, like what is around me right now, what is present right now. And when you start to do this and you start to realize that this is like an ever-present energy field that we live in all the time, that we are part of, that like we literally move through, then you start to realize, like, at a really sort of physical embodied level, the well-being of the world, the well-being of creation, the well-being of everything, and how like all of the lack, all of the problems is literally sort of like programming and disconnection from that. It really is a disconnection from that. And that's why when we go to nature and go out, like, into the countryside and go hiking or whatever, like we feel this sense of openness and expansiveness and connection that isn't necessarily available to us in a man-made world, because that vibrational frequency isn't polluted. It's not when I say polluted, it's not like dirty and polluted. It's like mixed up. It's not mixed up with the vibrational frequencies of man, of human, of thought, of disconnection, of all of those things. But in reality, even in the city, like that peace and well-being and love, that vibrational frequency of pure motherly love and well-being is everywhere. It's all around us. And so by bringing your attention and your focus and letting it be a feeling state, letting the mind quiet so that it can be a feeling state, and opening your body physically to the feeling state of what is present just in the air around you, just in the vibrational frequency of the nothingness around you, the air around you, where there is no thing, being, object, like whatever. Thing or being, I think there's only two. Like when that pure empty state of nothingness that is so dense in vibrational frequency, so dense in complete intention and vibration of love and well-being, or whatever it is that comes through for you. It might be peace, it might be expansiveness, it might be abundance. You will understand, like when you can tap into the feeling state, ask what is present, and then open your body to the feeling state. And then you can ask, like, what does that actually feel like? Put some words to it. What does it feel like to me? What does it remind me of? It feels like peace. It feels like everything's okay. It feels like utter well-being. When you can do that, then you understand that, like, all is well. And that we really are part of the fabric of this. We live amongst it. We interact with it. But generally, because our minds are so, we're kind of like bulldozing our way through it and not even connecting to it, not even understanding it's there, until we stop and go into a meditation, or until we go into nature, and then we find that equilibrium again, that balance. But we forget again when we go back up in our world. And so this is a really subtle but really powerful practice that you can bring to your daily life. And really, the invitation is to keep practicing it. Keep practicing it. If you can't feel it yet, keep practicing it. Keep being open to it. Just keep saying, like, what is present, and being open to the feeling state. Again, remember not to bring your thoughts into it, because some people, and me included, have very chatty thoughts. Minds are so it's, allowing the focus. And when we bring our focus, and when we take the thoughts and bring them to focus, that makes us already a very clear, expansive energy field, where what we want, like the vortex, what of all of our desires or whatever, like what we want can come and be made manifest through us, can be created. We can create that through life. And then when you start tapping into understanding the very fabric and essence of all of life, and by doing this very simple exercise, but very subtle exercise, then creation takes on this whole new form, because then you start to realize that you flow with it, you can guide it. You might not necessarily manifest the exact thing you want, but my God, will you manifest something bigger and better and more amazing than you could ever possibly dream of? Because, you know, the acorn, you know, I'll quote Derek Rydell here because I love his work, The Emergence, but like he talks about the acorn and the oak tree. Like, the acorn was always going to be an oak tree. It was never going to be an apple tree. But as an acorn, it can't perceive what an oak tree is, because all it knows is acorn. So it can only be what an acorn is and does. And then it becomes, through emerging from itself into this glorious oak tree. It will never be an apple tree, but it would never come with the concept of I am an oak tree, I am great. Like, it's because all it knows is acorn. Like, all you know is your limited perspective. You have no idea of the limitless, infinite possibilities available to you. So when we often do manifestation, we can quite often close ourselves down in that process by not having the broader visions, not having the thoughts that we could be even more than what we think. But when you can tap into this universal energy field that is everywhere, and it really just feels like you start to realize it like envelopes the world. It's like this envelope of air that's the vibrational frequency of this feeling state that you can easily tap into once you start recognizing it and opening to it and allowing it to be your focus. Then you realize that is in the fabric of everything. So it's a subtle practice, it's a bit advanced, but it's really worth doing, because the opening that comes from it, the peace, the well-being, like honestly, since I've been doing this every day, like the well-being that fills my whole body and being. And you know, inevitably there will be times when stuff comes up that isn't that, and that what happens is because we shine a light, right? And then there might be some sort of false beliefs or old trauma or old things that we haven't released or, you know, worked through that will come up, and they might come up, and you know, you can be in present awareness of them coming up and know that they are in, like, it's all well-being, right? Everything is love. And like, when you tap into feeling this and you really master it and commit to mastering it, then not much can faze you, because you understand it at a whole deeper core level. Yeah, that's right. And inevitably stuff will come up that is false beliefs, right? But it's coming to the light, it's clearing, it's removing itself from your being, from your understanding. But you know, if there were places where it gets stuck, like, don't beat yourself up or whatever, like, just come back to this. What is present right now? What is actually present in the air around me right now, in this little bubble that I'm in? Can I feel the essence and the feeling state of the vibrational frequency of what is around me? And you can, like, you absolutely can. So just keep practicing it, keep knowing that it's possible, and then bring it to your daily life. Like, as you're making a cup of tea or a coffee, or you're sat on the toilet, or you're washing your hands, you know, and I say these mundane things, right, because we do them multiple times in the day when we pour water or whatever. Instead of just going into space and allowing your thoughts to just blah, 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 or just daydreaming or drifting off, like, bring your attention, your focus, close your eyes and bring your focus to just what is the essence and what is present in the air around you. What is the essence that is here right now? What is the feeling state of that? And allow it to soak into your being, because your being is made of it too, right? It's just got confused. Your frequency has got confused. You've been told all your life that you're disconnected and separate, and your ego, like the way we have been not just programmed, but the way we have evolved as a species, is one of separation, one of, like, you know, the ego leaving the tribe and finding himself or whatever. And so don't beat yourself up about that, but then you can understand how you can come back to it, and then inviting yourself into those moments, like being more committed to that than you are to like scrolling your Facebook feed or looking at the newsreel. Or, you know, you might find you're still doing it. It's their subconscious habits that are programmed into us, right? And then you could become aware and just put it down and just, what's present here right now? What can I open to? What is the feeling state of what is present right now? And opening to that. And it's a really beautiful practice, and I can't recommend doing it enough, and I can't recommend repeatedly doing it till you really understand. And like, if you're struggling to focus, like, go back to focusing on an object, bring your focused awareness onto an object like the paperclip or an apple or whatever, like, but really be present and aware with it. What is the feeling state of that? When you bring your full attention, your full focus to it, like, that is when you're pure. That is when you are connected to source. And it's a really powerful state to be in. And especially if you want to be a co-creator of your life, if you want to create the life that you want, if you want to be a radiant soul, if you want to like show up on this planet as all you're meant to be, having that clear focus, having that real like commitment to understanding these principles at a whole deeper level of embodiment, is key. It's absolutely key, because manifestation will only take you so far. And manifestation is still believing that everything is outside of you. So practices like this, and repeatedly practicing them, like, I cannot emphasize enough, is where the magic happens, right? That's the work. And most people don't want to do it because they're too lazy, and it's far too easy to think the thoughts that they've thought all their life, myself included for some years. Don't ever think that anyone's excluded from this. It's the human experience, and it's a beautiful, bittersweet experience. And I'm leaving you that today, like, just, it's a practice and it's the work, and you have to be more committed to it than you are to your old stories. But when you are committed to it and you start really seeing and using these tools in your day-to-day life, then you understand, then you become in flow, then you are tapped in, turned on, tuned in, as Abraham Hicks would say. You are a vibrant, radiant soul, and you are a co-creator, and you're your God self. So I wish you a beautiful day. Enjoy having a go at this tool and using it, and repeat using it until you get it, and then keep using it, because it's the most wonderful, powerful experience. And it really does just take your worries away, because when you realize the fabric of everything around you is so pure and so clear and crystal in its love and well-being, then you realize that's like, you're part of that. There's no distinction, and that like literally infiltrates, merges, I don't know, whatever, like blah blah blah, but like, it's in the essence of everything, including whatever drama, problem you're facing right now. When you realize all is well, but you have a very physical, visceral, embodied experience of it by doing this practice, and really, really taking it on, and really committing to doing it and getting it, then you're invincible. Maybe not that invincible. Like, I'm sure if you got hit by a train, you'd still get hit by a train. But what I mean is, then you can have, a very clear frequency, and you become a very powerful channel for life, for God, for what you want, for everything. Like, you become the clear beam of light. Like, there's a lovely beam of light behind me. It's like, boom. Or whatever, I can't get it to go right through me. But you know what I mean? You got this. You're beautiful. You are powerful beyond anything you can ever comprehend. And it's just a case of you being committed to that. So I wish you a beautiful day. I love you. Thank you for listening, and enjoy. To find out more about how to work with me, then visit soulartbyshirley.com for art, commissions and courses. And if you love this podcast, please hit subscribe and leave a review. And if you take a screenshot of your review and email it to soulartbyshirley@gmail.com, I'll send you a radiant soul hypnosis as a thank you gift. Thank you for listening. I love you. Bye.